How you doing, people? Robert here. This is part 2 of the summary warrant process. Now, I'm going to read a document here that I did a freedom information request some time back. It's already on the TikTok channel a way back, but this is for the benefit of people who's just joined and hasn't maybe have time to look over all the videos, right? Now, it says here, this is from Stockton House, people, this answer, right? Ask specific questions for specific answers, and I've answered them right. So listen clearly and carefully and take note of what I'm saying. Dear Robert Sproul, before we go any further, people, there you go. Alright. Dear Robert Sproul, Freedom of Information Scotland Act 2002, right? Thank you for your request for information received by Kilmarnock and Paisley Sheriff Court. These were forwarded to the correspondence team of the Scottish Court and Tribunal Service to provide collective response, right? Firstly, Kilmarnock, Paisley Sheriff Court, again, are fiction. So you get this, people, you need to take this on board. The Scottish Courts and Tribunal Service can't respond to nothing. Men and women that hide behind the fictitious mask, a Scottish Court Service can answer. A court, a service, and a team cannot answer anything, right? This is where the deception is, where the legalese and the word trickery that's being used to deceive the people. And I verify this, if need be, under a charge of perjury. Please see the answers to each part of the request and turn below. The first question, people, was when a summary warrant application is applied for by the sheriff officers, what is the process and how is the alleged debt verified and by who, right? The answer was it's up to the local authority to submit an application for a summary warrant to the court to conformity with the relevant legislation, namely under Schedule 8 of the Local Government Finance Act 1992. The application summary warrant paperwork is produced by the applicant and submitted by the applicant to the court for consideration. The Sheriff Court administration staff lay the application before the sheriff and then advise the applicant of the decision. Now, this is done behind a closed door, right? And let me be clear. When it comes to electric meters, when they're applying for a warrant, people, it's the same process. And I'll tell you the reason I know is because numerous times I've attacked this in different courts with one man for about 6 times, and every time I went to court, they dropped it, right? Because it's fraud. Everything's fraud. They do this under the Gas Act, right? Which is supposed to be a health and safety matter, but they use that to get access to your property. It's all fraud, and they're all complicit in a major fraud against the people. And people have to understand this, right? Question 2. Does the summary warrant process go through a lawful court or a higher room for the day by Glasgow City Council, and who presides in this court, a sheriff or an independent body within the public building? The sheriff will consider, this is the answer, the sheriff will consider and sign the warrant in their chambers within the relevant sheriff court building. So it's done behind closed doors. It's a done deal, people. There's no ifs or buts about it. It's a done deal, right? And this is what people have to understand. You've not got a say in the matter. Corporations are dictating here what's happening, what you can do, what you can't do, right? Because you're a person, you're a corporation, a fiction. They don't hear you, don't see you, don't recognise you, and you don't get an opportunity to face your accuser, right? And that's the bottom line, and no nonsense, no misinformation. That's the way it is. Question 3. Why is no one notified of the process when the process of the summary warrant is applied for by the sheriff officers, so he or she can come and challenge the alleged debt direct through a lawful process, which is his or her right in law? This is the answer, people. When a local authority makes the application to the court to conformity with the relevant legislation, the sheriff must grant a warrant authorising recovery of the sums due. Now bear in mind, they use one summary warrant, people, and that summary warrant covers everybody else in this Mickey Mouse list that they put before this numpty in chambers, right? And that's what he is, a numpty. He can't verify the debt. He obviously can't verify all the names and the circumstances. So why is he granting a summary warrant? And I'll tell you the reason why, right? It's because you're a person and they're making a presumption. As I keep telling you, their system works on presumption. They're making a presumption that you're the person in the legislation, and that needs to be challenged. Also, it has to be challenged that you are a person. It can never be verified that you're a person because you apply for a passport and a driving licence for legal paperwork. That's how they catch you, people. That's the deception and the trickery to catch you and hold you liable for surety for everything that they throw at you. The summary warrant procedure is a means of the public creditors, such as local authorities, to pursue the amounts they are owed on behalf of the public, right? The legislation makes no requirement for a court hearing to be set, and any challenge to be made to the summary warrant being granted should immobilise with the relevant local authority. Means that you're not going to get the opportunity to challenge this, right? You've no chance. It's a done deal. Corporations are manipulating their rules to screw the people, bottom line people, until people all start coming together all over this country, stand up and challenge everything. You're going to get no change. It's done to the people are the power, and that's a fact. Council tax may be levied and collected in the terms of Section 97 of the Local Government Finance Act 1992. Schedule 8 to the 1992 provides enforcement action in relation to a non-payment of council tax, right? Now again, these are all private corporations, right? They're no sovereign people. So if they're a private corporation, a contract has to be in place, and they're manipulating and flouting the rules on that as well. They're deceiving and committing fraud at the highest level, abuse of process, and malfeasance in public office, right? Now, question 4. Why is there never a copy of the alleged summary warrant with the wet ink signature sent to whom it concerns? Right? Answer. It is a matter for the local authority which the paperwork is supplies to the debtor, right? So what they're doing is, as you were told in the first video, they don't hold a record of that in court, so they keep passing, everybody keeps passing everything about to escape liability, and this is the bit people don't get. These are all working together, so what happens is the court gets an application for sheriff officers, they sign the summary warrant gets back to the sheriff officers, and then it's returned to the council. So the summary warrant, the sheriff officers know nothing about either, right? And this is how they escape liability. But I'm going to explain in one of the next videos how to attack this, people, right? And give you the knowledge that you need to do this. The Council Tax Administration Enforcement Scotland Act Regulation 1992 outlines further requirements placed on an applicant, right? That's another part of it. 5. Where does a charge certificate come from? Is it issued by the court or direct from the sheriff officers? Once a summary warrant, this is the answer, people. Once a summary warrant has been issued by the local authority, it may serve a charge certificate payment. A charge certificate payment will be served by sheriff officers and messengers at arms. For further information regarding the charge for payments, contact should be made with the relevant local authority. There you go again, people passing it back. The court want nothing to do it because they've not got any jurisdiction to do what they're doing. They're acting in misconduct in public office again, people. Question 6. What document is issued to arrest wages and bank accounts? Does this document come from the court, issued by sheriff officers, or direct from themselves, from their company, right? The answer is the sheriff officers the sheriff court does not administer earnings harassment for council tax unless it is part of a conjoined statement order. Generally, an earnings harassment should be dealt with by a solicitor, debt recovery firm, and sheriff officers on behalf of the creditor. Now they're saying that the council's a creditor. What are they giving you? There's no services, people. And this is the bit you need to get. You get people out there rattling their gums about this and that, you should be paying your council tax. Really? The council tax is no relevant to man or woman. There is no contract, right? And no man or woman and any sheriff officer, council or court's going to come forward in a private capacity and make a claim that you've got to pay that, right? It's all an illusion, people. And people have to get that sorted out, right? Question 7. Is there a contract produced by sheriff officer that somebody want application to show breach of contract in terms of conditions have been broken and debt is part of those terms and conditions and the contract? This is the answer. The purpose of the Scottish Court and Tribunal Service is supporting justice. Really, that's a joke, as you well know, people. Which they do by providing the people buildings and services needed to support the judiciary. the courts, the tribunals and the Office of Public Guardian. The Scottish Court Service function is to administrate and has no involvement with the functions of sheriff officers and how they perform their work. So there you go again, people, they're passing the buck. They're using the sheriff officers. And these sheriff officers, if we get enough people, can be taken to task. Okay, we have class action. That's a fact, right? Sheriff officers enforce court orders on behalf of applicant case parties and not on behalf of the Scottish Court Service. Right? So that's nothing to do with the court. That's what they're saying, people. Question 8. Is the alleged summary warrant when issued in all caps name or any other format? Right? This is the answer. There is no requirement for any of these documents to be in all caps. Right? That's funny, that. Right? Because when you go to court in a criminal matter, you keep changing the formats to all caps and upper all cap lowercase. Right? The format of any document served on a debtor, right? They keep saying the people's a debtor. Debtor's a person, right? By sheriff officers is not something which the Scottish Court Service can advise on, people. There you go again, they're passing liability escape, right? What prima facie evidence is produced to verify the alleged debt? The legislation states that an application by the authority must be accompanied by a certificate. I'm still trying to find out what that certificate is. From them containing such particulars as may be prescribed. It's up to the local authority to produce the evidence to satisfaction of the sheriff for the summary warrant to be granted. It's a done deal, people. I've told you in the early start of this letter, it's a done deal. He must sign that, right? And it's wrong, right? Because you have the right to face your accuser in law and you have the right to challenge any debt, right? 10. Can somebody that the summary warrant applies for get a copy of this warrant direct from the court that issued it? If not, why not? Once the sheriff is granted the summary warrant authorising recovery of the sums due, the paperwork is thereafter returned to the relevant local authority, meaning via the sheriff officers, and they pass it back. And that's how they're hiding the fraud, right? Because I've wrote to Susan Miller, CEO of Glasgow City Council. I've wrote to Martin Booth, Finance Director of Glasgow City Council, and I've asked them to supply a summary warrant with a name on it. They can't do it. And the reason they can't do it, as it tells you already in the first video, is they use one name, right? So they can't manipulate the documents when they only use one name. We've got the evidence to back this up, people. It's all fraud and deception and crimes at the highest level against the sovereign people of Scotland. I hope you find this information provided some assistance. However, should you feel dissatisfied with the response or any manner in which this request has been handled from the Freedom of Information provides for a review process to be conducted. Should you wish to take advantage of this process, you may apply and write for a review. Your request should be details of why you wish a review to be carried out and should be made within 40 working days of a receipt of this letter to the Freedom of Information Officer. Alright, people. And this came from Sean Chalmers in Salton House, the parent company of the court services, because everyone, as I told you in the first video, is a branch. Now, a couple of people have contacted me. They've asked me a couple of questions. I've answered them, right. Firstly, to challenge the summary warrant, there's options. The options is, well, if it's Glasgow City Council, you can write to Susan Miller, CEO, Chief Executive Officer, or Martin Booth, Director of Finance, right? And tell them that you require a copy of the summary warrant. You require to verify that you're the person in the act. You require to verify that you're a person. And you require evidence to document and verify the finding facts and conclusions in law that you rely upon, that you are such a person. And who is making that claim? What man or woman is making that claim, right? It can never be done, right? You can also ask them for the contract, because Glasgow City Council, every council in Scotland is a private corporation. They try and fob you halfway, they don't need a contract. Well, they're under contract law, they're no sovereign, right? They can never be sovereign. Your governors are no sovereign. These are criminals. It's in control of what's happening here. It's causing deprivation and poverty of the people in the lands of Scotland. And people need to wake up now and stand. And the way to do this is the whole of Scotland, every man and woman relating to this matter, has to stand up now and challenge it. You can also go to the civil department in any court near you and tell them that you want to speak to the head clerk and you want to see if there is a summary warrant in your name. And if there is a summary warrant in your name, you want to see a copy of it. They'll never be able to produce a copy. Again, people to re-enhance. In the first video I told you they use one name, right? They've been caught bank of rights. The one who sent that letter for Paisley Sheriff Court for the first video has made a bib because they've given too much information, right? They've been a smart ass and it's backfired on them. You can go to any court and challenge it, right? In the civil department, it's the civil department you must go, right? Or you can email them. But what I would say to you, email them, it's a waste of time. Because I've emailed umpteen courts for certain things and I've been ignored. They're trying to hide the fraud. And it's people like myself that's now exposing it to help the people understand what's going on with the council tax, right? You have to get services, people. You have to have a contract. You have to have full disclosure. You have to know the terms and conditions of that, and you have to have a wet signature, ink, name on the document by either party involved. Sheriff officers cannot get involved in that, right? The third party interlopers are no party to any contract. Which there is no contract. As I told you in the first video, what they do is manipulate for you to fill in paperwork and register. That's them getting joined up, right? And the other thing that needs to be accounted here is actions or inactions. Inactions to sit back and take this shit means it's going to keep going, right? Actions mean you have to stand up as a man or a woman, not a person, and be counted and fight back. Once the numbers come together and take this system on, this system's going to crumble, people, and it's going to crumble fast because they can't keep doing what they're doing and getting away with it, and that's a fact. It's up to the people to make the decision to stand up, be counted, or sit back, cowards and sheep, and take the shit that's coming, right? All this and everything that this Scottish government, English government, Irish and Welsh government try to do can be stopped in its tracks, and that's a fact, people. But it's up to the people of the power, the people of the authority, not the corporations. It's all corporations that's controlling your life. It's all corporations that's causing harm, loss and injury. It's all corporations that's causing you deprivation and poverty. It's all corporations that's allowed child abuse to continue, right? So there you go, people. I've given you part 2 here now. More information. Read or listen and digest what I've just told you, right? Download this video, people, and download the first video, then you'll get what you need, right? I'm still trying to work out how to put a document on TikTok, but I'll get it. Be patient. Anyway, people, please share this video far and wide. Make sure everybody in Scotland, all over Scotland, gets this information. And listen, people, if we can get the numbers in Scotland to come together, we can end this once and for all. We can take back control of the lands of Scotland, our services and our rights. Because you're losing your rights by sitting doing nothing, and it's important that you stand up. Are you a man, woman, or a coward? That's what I'm going to say to you. I've been fighting with this system 12 and a half years. I've never backed down yet. I've been locked up as well, right? I've never backed down because when you're right, you're right. You don't back down on principle. Anyway, please share this video far and wide and get this information out there. Time to fight back, people, and the time is now. It's not a case of when is enough. Right now, enough is enough. Speak soon, people. Part 3 will be up shortly. Okay, bye-bye.